Hello, everyone. We are going to start the episode 9 of season 3 Annual Python. So next week, believe it or not, so it's the last episode of the season 3. So I'm not sure when I'm going to continue for the season 4 because right now it's the middle of the Python. So we have a lot of things to do the Python programming. But I do not have any plan or idea when we are going to continue for the Python season 4. So I will definitely let you know if I decide. Probably I think that it may be around the May. So I'm not sure yet. So let me uh, change this one. Okay, then we have two TA today. So if you have any questions, please ask your question to the uh, Trinity or the Urban. So they are voluntarily help me and you for any on Python. Okay. Then before we start, so let me talk about a little bit about the computer itself. And so while I'm teaching and also I'm doing my research on the computer science, I think the computer itself is very, very similar as the human being. So actually, the computer is one of the tools to have the human beings. Sometimes you realize that the functionality of the computer, like this one, is very, very similar as this. So, for example, the computer can communicate with each other using the network. So the people definitely is a social animal. So we are connected to each other. So we can communicate using the languages. Similarly, computer can use their own languages like that. And also the computer nowadays applied to the robotics. The robot is the kinematic operation, so which is the same as what we are doing. So it's the like the robotics. And also the computer can have the camera and can see something, and also it can be processed as the image processing. So obviously we are able to see using the eyes, then a lot of things that are similar. But the nowadays we are using more and more such a computer which are very similar as the what we have, but there is several reasons we rely on the computer for specific tasks, and such a thing. One of them, I believe, the computer is very good at the compute. So computing power itself is much much better than what we can do, like the simple computation. How? So when I was kid like you, so there was a TV show like the to compete between the human being and the computer or calculator, who is the fast, who is the accuracy. At that time that sometimes people can win, but nowadays obviously definitely the computer is much much faster than what the human being can calculate, also much much more accurate. So the computing power itself is the computer is the winner. So because of that, we are using computer. And also another important the the reason why the computer is better than human being, in other words, why we are using computer, is the, I believe, that is the repetition. So peoples can be easily the bored. So like the you and me, so if we are doing the repeated job and tedious job, so we can get easily bored. So then give up and getting slow. But the computer itself is the very fast to compute itself, and also it is very very powerful to do the repeated job. So in computer systems, such a repeated job can be implemented as last time we learned about the loop. So we can use the such a repeated the block as the loop, then we can keep doing the job. So for the implementation of the such a loop, the last episode we learned about, anyone who remember what kind of loop we learned? If you know the answer, so you can use the chat box. While loop, yes, very nice. So we can use the while loop for the repeated job. So for your reminder in while loop, so we can use the while keyword. Then we can put the what? So it's the what we can put in this the question mark. Anyone remember? It's the test. So either the Boolean, yes, right. As the minion said, we can put any test, the function, or the statement that can be output as either true or false. So in case of the true, this is a true, then we can run the code block, this one, while body. So that is the while loop. Then we are going to run the repeatedly run until this part is true. Okay, so that is the while loop. So we have used the while loop last time. Then we realized that there is a problem of the fans post problem sometimes. So in case of a fans post problem, what is a fans post problem? So for example, if we are asking the question, then the low or high. So in case of guessing number, last time we have implemented the guessing number. So how we can guess? So we can guess the number, then the low or high. So low or high is it's a fence, it's a body. Then we are going to ask the question whether we are going to guess the number. So guessing number is the post. And so this is the one cycle, the loop of the while. However, because of the characteristic, we need one more time of the question. So we need one more post. So we are going to add one more time of the such as the question. This the fans post problem happen a lot in many programming when you are using the while loop. So please, it's kind of idiom of the computer programming. So you can keep in mind that sometimes you need such a the one more the post, one more the question, so that can be out of the while loop, or which means the beginning of while loop or the after the while loop. So we can use it. Okay, so this is a while loop we have learned the last time. Then there is a one more type of the loop. So today, so we are going to see the another important, very, very important statement in Python that is called the for loop. Okay, so if you know the for loop and while loop, pretty much you are ready to start the nice, the fancy and fast, efficient programming. Not only in Python, in any the program language, use such a the for loop. So today we are going to see the such a for loop. Okay, so then let me change the screen share into my desktop. So I'm going to put down this. So this is a fans post problem. So for example, in case of guessing number, so guessing number is the post, but we need one more. So as we have seen before, so we can add. We can add one more guess. Oops. One more guess outside before we start the while loop. Then we can guess we can judge whether low or high. Then as the number, then if this is not correct yet, and continue. But we need before we start the while loop, we need one more guess. So this is the first problem in while loop. Okay, then today we are going to see the for loop. So before we start the for loop, actually we learned how to use the for loop with Carol. So do you remember, anyone who remember this problem? The place many beepers? Anyone who remember? So what was this problem? So we try to put the number of beeper here. So how can we do that? So for example, in case just one beeper, we can make Carol move the corner, then the put beeper, then move. So this is an easy problem. So why don't you download the file? So this one, then create your project, then you can start the place many beeper. So I'm going to wait until you are ready. So please download the file, then create the project as a user, then open place many beeper. So you already did the long time before. I think that is pretty much the June 2020 we did. Even though you never use the Carol, this is a very simple programming, so you are able to do that. Okay, so if you are ready, please give me thumbs up. Then I can check how many of you are ready to. Very nice, Samuel and Brandon as a user, very nice. So if you are ready, so Daniel, very good. And as I mentioned many times, so please do not watch, do not listen to anyone Python. The most important thing in this, the anyone Python is doing something. Okay, whether or not it's correct, you must do something. Otherwise, it's a waste of my time, also waste of your time also. So please, okay, then if you are ready, so let's start the program by removing this one pass. Then we can make the move, the one, so we can use the move. Why don't you follow me? Then so we can put beeper. Okay, then we put the beeper and the move. Okay, then to run the program, so you can type Python 3 if we are using the Mac. If you are using Windows, it's just Python or py. Then place many beepers.py. As I suggest, you don't have to type everything, just type 2 or 3 letters, then use tab. It's the autofill function, and you can run it. If you run the Carol successfully, it will be like this. So you can run the program. Then that's it. Very nice. So no problem to do. Then let's change the problem. So why don't you put the 5 beeper? So you can stack up the beeper in the same place. Then you will see the number. This time, we'd like to put the 5 beeper. What can be the solution of putting 5 beeper? So how can you do that? How can you put the 5 beeper over here? Any suggestion? So any suggestion? Move and repeat. Put beeper 5 times. Yes. So why don't we put the 5 times? Yes, that's correct. So we can put the 5 times the beeper, put beeper like this. Then we can run the program. Then see what's going on. Then run the program. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can solve the problem. So there might be no problem to put the 5 beeper then. So this is the kind of the repeated job. So to make it simple, so we learned about the decomposition. So why don't we create a function? for this. So like the put 5 beeper. So then instead of the put the underscore 5 beeper first, the here we can create the function. Then put 5 beeper. So what about this? This looks better. So we can use the function that create the 5 beeper. Then our problem is to move, put 5 beeper and move like this. Why don't we run the program? Then run the program. Okay, very nice. It's the same result. We can put the 5 beeper. Then here's another question. What about the 10? So why don't you put the 10 beeper here? 10 beeper. How can you put the 10 beeper here? Any suggestion? Any idea? Two times, yes, right. So what about, as Daniel suggests, why not put the use the function 2 times? Then we can simply put the 10 beeper. Yes, I don't have to run it again. But what about the 42 beepers? So this is a question for the putting the 42 beeper. How can you do that? We need to do the 8 times of this and also 2 more times the put beeper. Is this the simple? Do you think that is the simple? What do you think? Not that simple, right? So we do better find the easy way and also efficient way, because the computer is good at such a repeated job, but it's also the repeated. Put 5 people is okay, 5 or 10 times. However, 40 times or the 42 times, arbitrary number, bigger number, it doesn't work. So to address that, we learned about what? At that time, we use the for loop. So for loop at the time, anyone who remember in range, the 42, for example, you can give the number, then put beeper, like this. Do you remember that? So we can use the for in, for loop. So if you never use the for loop, don't worry. This is the for loop we have used in Carol, this guy. So it's just a reminder if you know the Carol, otherwise we will see that today. But was the solution at the time to solve the problem of such a repeated job. So let's run the program. So if you run the program, 1, 2, 3, it's too slow. We can slightly faster, and you can see the 42. So you can see the 42 over here. So we can put the 42. If you want to change the number, you can change the number. You can put the 100, you can put the 120 something like that. So this is the power of the for loop. So today we are going to learn how to use the for loop, not only in Carol, in general, in Python programming. Okay, so very nice. If you never used the Carol before, why don't you go back to find the season 1, the YouTube video, then it will be fun. And it's much easier than the season 3. Okay, so we solved the problem. So finally, we are going to use the for loop. The for what? Repeated job. So how can we use? So if you want to repeat 100 times, the last time we learned about the range function. Range function start from what? Start from, anyone who remember? range function start from 0. Very nice. And up to what? Very nice, Young, and very nice, Minion. So 99? Yes, not 100. It's 100 is not included. Less than 100. So that is the important thing. So then the 0 to 99. So it's how many times? 100 times will be repeated. Okay, that this is the for loop. Actually, this is the same as this one. If you want to repeat with the while loop, so until this is the truth, less than 100. So starting from 0, and increase by, this is the short notation of the I equal to I plus 1. We already learned the short expression. Then it's increased by 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to what? 99. So how many times it will be repeated? How many times? 100 times. So this is the same. But which one is easier? Using for loop or using while loop? Which one is easier? Yes, as you can see, for loop is much, much easier. Why? Because we know how many times? 100 times. So we can use the for loop this time instead of the while loop. Okay, so how can we use the while loop? The for and in is the keyword, reserved word. It's a command to use the for loop. Then I is called the counting variable. It's called the counting. Why? Because the number is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a counting. Also, sometimes it's called the index variable. Index. So what is an index? Index is index. So this can be used for index. So this is called the counting variable or index variable. This one depends on this, the after in. So we have range. So, however, not only range, but any values. The collection of the values will be used here. So we will see such an example right now. We can use the range over here. Okay, so this is the syntax. For the xxx is the variable. So counting variable, or sometimes it's called the index variable. Why? So it can be the range over here. It can be the list. What is a list? Don't worry. We will cover the next episode, but list means it's a list. List of a book. List of something. It's a group. It's a many thing, many variable. So string is also can be used. Tuple. What is a tuple? Don't worry. After we cover the list in season 4, we will see what is a tuple also. Dictionary is a similar thing. So, but all of this is not only just one value, it's the group of values. So we are going to say that this kind of the list as the collection. So we can put any collection data, collections. Any collection data here, then use one for each. That is the for loop. So this is just a simple example. So we will see practice. But before we move on, today's the problem. We do better know which one is better. When you are doing your programming, Python programming by yourself, you should be able to decide which one is better, for loop or while loop. So you should be able to decide each of them. So here's a question. Actually, the same question as the last week. So which one is good for this time? For loop. So first one, for each family member, ask a menu for a dinner. Then everyone keep writing a letter to the Senate until the bill is passed. So number 1 and number 2, which one is better? Second one. So if you think that a lot of the student, Brandon, Daniel, James is the one, anyone who is thinking the number 2 is good for the for loop? Young is the 2. So let's see which one is better for the for loop. So last time, though, we learned the while loop. In case of while loop, so we are going to use the test function. It's a condition over here. We don't know how many times repeated, okay? But we are going to repeat the loop until this condition is true. So for example here, keep writing. We don't know how many days, how many times writing a letter. But until when? Bill is passed. If bill is passed true, then we stop. Okay? So this kind of thing, if you do not know how many times, how many the things, then we can use the while loop. This is better. But however, if you know the target, so for each family member, how many family members you have? 1 or 2 or 3, but it's determined. You know the how many family member. Then how many times do you ask the question, the menu? So it's the same as the number of family member. So if you know the target, if you know how many times you do, then for loop is better. Okay. I'm not saying only for loop. As you can see the previous one, sometimes you can implement the same problem with for loop and while loop. However, as you can see, the for loop is much easier and simpler and easy to understand. Okay, then, so in this case, the for each family, the for loop is better. Okay, then one more question. What about this? Number 1, number 2. So which one is good for the for loop at this time? Number 1 or number 2? For loop. Same idea. If you know the how many times? Jonathan, say number 1. Anyone else? And Daniel, number 1. And Maria, Brandon, Daniel, Samuel, and anyone else? Please think about your idea and why also. Okay. In my sense, let's see this one first. From a video file, find the number of faces for each frame. So if you have video, as you know, the video has a many bunch of the images. So especially, so if you watch the streaming service, so keep coming the video frame. So we are going to count number of face. We don't know how many the frames, images in a video. At that time, when we are doing Python programming with the video file, almost all the time we are going to use the while loop until end of the video file, like that. So while is better for the video file. But for each line of the file, so we have the file over here, number of line. So we can just check the number of the line, okay, for each line. Then we can calculate the average number of words for each line. So because we know the number of line, so then we can calculate the average number of words. So at this time, this one is better. However, it is possible you can use a while loop to solve this problem. But usually this one is better. And also this one, if you know the how many times, of the how many image frame the for each video has, then you can use the for loop. But usually while can be used for the video file. Okay, very nice. So let's start the problem. So today's problem start with example 4. So why don't you open the example 4? So there are 3 different ways to use the for loop. One is the simple using range function, because range function generate the sequence number as we have seen before. So first, why don't you print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on like this, using for loop and using for loop and with the range. Why don't you start? So you can put your code over here. You can put your code over here. So using for loop. If you are done, please give me thumbs up. Then I can see how many of them can solve the problem. You can print 1, next line 2, next line 3, like this. You don't have to comma 2, comma 3, like this. Who solved the problem? Let's see. Young did. Very nice. Anyone else? If you have any question for the coding and any other issue, please get the help from the Urban and Trinity. Anyone else? Please give me thumbs up if you can print successfully. Okay, the one more, the James did. Very nice. Even though I do not teach very details of the for loop, so you can solve the problem. That's the computer programming. Computer programming, the grammar itself is not very difficult. However, the problem is whether you are able to translate the real problem into the computer language. Like the mathematics, math is I believe, is kind of translation. The natural problem, the problem in nature, whether you can translate into the equation math language. Okay, very nice, Daniel. So we are going to solve the problem together. If you are doing the right now, continue, keep working. So you can check your answer with mine. So we can use the for loop. For loop has the in. To use the range, we can give the control variable or index variable. Usually we are using I or sometimes a J. So do not ask me why, because we prefer to use I, J, K as the index or control variable. So range. Then, so how many times the repeat? How many times? 12 times. So we can give the what? 12. Very nice. So then don't forget this. Okay, always this is the semicolon. Semicolon means a colon. This is a colon, right? Sorry, because I'm teaching another computer language in the school that use the semicolon a lot. It's called the SQL structured query language. SQL use the semicolon, so every time confused. Colon, I'm sorry. Then code block start. So we can print what? This time 1, 2, 3, 4. What is the 1, 2, 3, 4? What is the 1, 2, 3, 4? It's the I. It's the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you print I like this, so what happened? So we are going to run example. Example the 4.py. Then it's a 0 through the 11, right? Because the range function generate the number from 0 through 11. So we can do +1, I +1. Then run it again. Then finally it can generate the let's say the 1 through 12, like this. Okay, very nice. So if you your answer is different from me, so it's okay as long as you got the answer. There are different ways. It's fine. So I major in the mathematics, so I was not good student, but one of my professor, he always said, so solving the problem is very similar as the climbing the mountain. So when you climb the mountain, so is there only one way? No, there are many different ways. Okay, sometimes you can find a new route, like the Everest. When you climb the Everest, so people try to find a new route or efficient way or the safe way, like that. So solving the computer problem is the same thing. It's not only just the general solution. There are a bunch of other solutions. Okay, so I don't say that you are wrong. So right now, you can try the bunch of different ways. Okay, before we move on the next problem, so let's see the solution with the N1 Python screen like this. Then we will see what's going on in a computer. This one is the simpler problem. Okay, so we can print the number of times like this. So instead, we can put the print I plus 1. It's the same thing. So then range is a range generator 0, 1, 2. If you want to make sure the what will be generated, so you can use the console like this. Then the type. So, oops. What? It's a list. Yes, the list. Then there is a generator 0, 1, 2. Okay. So this is the 0, 1, 2. So let's start. So first, the I will be 0. 0 will be assigned to the I, the variable. So variable is the small box as I use. So in small box, 0 will be assigned. Then the print, and you have Python. If you print I plus 1 over here, then I is 0, then the plus 1 is 1 will be printed like this. Then next time, this one, oops, this is I think this one should be 1. Then the print, and next, the 2 will be printed. Then anyone Python. So this will be done. Okay, let's move on the second problem. So we are going to directly use the list. So keep in mind, so before even we do not cover the list yet. So some of you guys, many of you guys never heard about list. But just remember, list is the list of data. So at that time, we are going to use the bracket over here. So bracket, between the bracket, we can put a lot of the data like this. So this is the one, this is another one, this is another one, this is another one. So for example, if you put the words, it's a collection. This will be here. Okay. Then for each word, hi, there, anyone, and Python will be the control variable. So first is a hi. Second, there. Third, anyone. Next, Python. Then you can use the control variable inside the code block. So, hey, let's solve this problem. Print each word. I will give the 1 minute to solve this problem. It's the same idea. So you can use the for and in. So here, so you can put the list of words, collection. So you can put the collection. Range is the also collection of the number. Then for this one, this is the index or control variable. So inside your body, so you can use the control variable for each loop. Why don't you start? If you have any problem, please ask the Trinity or the Urban. If you are done, as usual, please give me thumbs up. Then I can see the who solved the problem. Please take your time. If you are done, if you can see the each word this time, then please give me thumbs up. You can, if you don't want to display this, you can comment the previous one. Okay, who did? Yes, Brandon, very nice. Very good job. And one more, the Ryan did. And we have the Summer, the Katie, and very nice. So getting faster, right? So keep doing. Then I'm going to put my answer, then you can compare with mine. The for loop. So controlling the variable, I'm going to use the word and in. The word is the list. You can, I already defined the list over here. So for each word, I'm going to print. So print what? Word for each word. So then that's it. Run the program. If you run the program, hi there, anyone Python, like this. So that's it. You will be curious. Can I use I over here? What happened? Can I use I? What do you think? Any suggestion? If I use I over here, what happened? Is it wrong or is it okay? Wrong. But if you change this one, I, what do you think? Is this still wrong or is it working? If you're not sure, you can try. So it works, Katie, very nice. So you can run still hi there and on Python. But which one is better? Word or I? Which one is better? Which one is better? The word or I? Word is better. Why? The one of the main purpose of the program language is the readability. So somebody should be able to understand your code. If you are using I, so what's the meaning of I? So you can understand. But if you type word, then everybody can understand that this is the word, each word. So like if you are using the name, it's better to recognize each of you. But if you are using number one, number two, number three instead of name, I cannot recognize who you are. So not easy. So this is the better for your readability. Okay. So this is just if you are using the list as a name product, then many of time we can use the singular as the controlling variable. That makes sense, right? So then we can easily understand the code. Okay, then third one, the problem. Then we are going to solve the problem together. So third problem is I mentioned that we can use any collection of the data here. So string is also collection of data. In Python anyone Python season 4, we will have the lesson to know about the string later. But here the we will see just the taste. Let's see this one. Why don't you follow me? For I, range LEN S. So what's the meaning of LEN? Anyone can guess? We learned this. LEN function means, what is the LEN function? Length. Very nice. Even though you never use, you can guess. As I said, the short name and the abbreviation, it's used a lot. The developer of Python, they are not very smart. Just the intuitive, you can guess. Length of S. What is the length? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 letters. So we can use that to print, like the I, comma, and SI. Okay, you don't have to worry about this. The we will cover the season, the 4 Python, if we have, then run it. Oops. Oh, I forgot I. In. So every time it happens, you can see the output like this. 0 index. First letter is where's the H? And second, E. Third, L. Fourth, L. Fourth, the fifth, O. Like this. So string is also collection of the character. So we can use the for loop. This is the one nice example how we can use the for loop. Okay, if you want to know the answer, then you can always check the solution directory. You can find the answer over here. Okay, so there's the answer over here. Okay, very nice. So let's move on to the next problem. Next problem is the more practical problem. So why don't you print 100 even number? 100 even number using for loop. You can print 0, 2, 0, print 0, print 2, print 4 if you have a time. But as I said, we don't want to do such the tedious job. So we are going to use the for loop for the repetition. So 100 even number. So why don't you start your program? So you can erase the past always, then put your code over here. So you can use a for loop with hint. You can use a range. You can use the range in the in clause. Range in. Okay. If you are done, please let me know using the thumbs up. Wow, somebody already did. Who did the first? Maria, very nice. Good job, really good job. Okay, very nice. So 100 number. Anyone else? Oh, somebody already did. Katie did. Very nice. Good job. And Brandon did. Okay, keep doing, keep doing. You don't have to in a hurry. So think about what is an even number. Even number, how can you create the even number? Even number is the multiplication, the multiply by 2. For what? Natural number. For the natural number, you can multiply by 2. That is the even number. Okay. Then how we can use the for loop. Okay, let's start together. So we can use a for loop, right? For, then we can use the I index, then for what? The range. So how many times? We are going to do the 100 times. So 100 times, so let's see the 100. So 0 through 99. Then we are going to print. If you print I, it will generate what? If you print this one, Very nice, Jonathan. So print even. So it's just the 0 through 99. So this is not what I want. So what happened? It should be even number. So we need to multiply by 2. So then let's run. So it starts from what? Where is it? 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 Start. Yes, 0. It starts from 0. Why? Because the 0 is also even number. So 0, 2, 4, then up to what? 198. So I times 2. So we can use the for loop to create the even number. It's just a 2-line code. So then done. Okay, let's see the simple example then. The generate the print the even number. How many? 3 even number. The with any on Python screen. Then we will see how it works in a computer system. So for I, this is the variable. So we are going to create the variable. So this is the range. Is the 0, 1, 2. So first loop is the 0. Then the 0 will be used the 0 times 2. So the 0 will be printed. The next is I, 1. So 1 will be added to the variable I. Then the 1 will be used like this. 1 times 2 is a 2. So 2 will be printed. Okay. Then the next one is the 2. So 2, or not yet. So here, the 2 will be the inserted to the I variable, small box in the memory. Then the I will be used for the print in a body. So 2 times 2 will be printed like this. Okay, there's a different way. So I want to keep the print I, but can I use the range? What we learned this. You remember that? So this is the starting. First one is the starting, and second is end. And what about this? The last one. Anyone who remember the what is the meaning of the third number of the range function? It's a skip. So there is a skip. So if you give the 3, skip by 3. If you give the -1, it's the reverse way. And if you give the 2, skip by 2. Even number is a skip by 2. So we can use the I in range 0, 6, 2 means. So range, it will generate the 0, skip by 2, 2. Skip by 2, 4. Then the 6 is less than 6. So 0, 2, 4. So in this case, you can change like this: 0, 100, and 200. Then skip by 2. Then we don't have to multiply like this. So we can run the program. Then you will get the same result as this. Okay, so this is a second problem. The last one. So last one, I will give the enough time so you can solve the problem. Why don't you print anyone Python season 1, anyone Python season 2, anyone Python season 3, hopefully season, I'm not sure, but up to season 3. Why don't you print this one? For the third problem is the anyone 4. You can use it. So print like this. You can erase the past and put your code. Let's just start. You can take a time. Then range function always start from the 0 and less than given number. The given number is not included. Okay, so be careful. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. It's not starting from 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3. If you are done, please give me thumbs up. Then I can see who did the first. Wow, there's one. First, the young, very nice, very good job. If you have any question, please send a message to the Urban and the Trinity. Katie did a very nice job. Brandon, as usual, the very good job. Okay, let's solve the problem together. Then you guys keep working to finish. That is more important. So let's start from the for loop. So I'm going to use the I because it's number. So in range, I'd like to repeat the 3 times. So I think the 3, range 3 will be better. So then we are going to print the anyone, the Python season, then 1, 2, 3. So then run the program. So this is the anyone Python. Then what happened? Why is the error? I got the error. Why it got the error? Yes, it's the integer problem. So here's the important thing. When you see the error, you don't have to be shy. You don't have to be embarrassed. The more error you get, the better skill. So I don't think that if you complete the code perfect every time, I don't think you can solve every problem in future. I think that you'd better get the error more and more. Then you will learn the more the important thing. So here, most of the error that shows the clue how to solve that problem. So if you see this one, type error, and usually it's a trace back, which means you can see the last here. So this is the error. Actually, this error from main function and so on. So you can focus on the last one. Then if you see the last one, type error can only concatenate the string to string, which means this one is an integer. So integer cannot be concatenated with a string. So we need to change. So how can we change? Do you remember? Yes, the string function. We can use the string function. However, I is the 0, 1, 2. So season 0, season 1, season 2. So we can have I plus 1. Okay, let's run the program. Then finally, we have the anyone Python 1, 2, 3, like this. One more thing. If you do not understand what is this, what is the meaning of the error, how can you do that? The last question. How can you understand? If you do not understand the error code, how can you do that? If you don't understand the meaning of error message, what can you do? Googling. Yes, that is the answer. So you can start your browser and search. You are not the first guy. You are not the first one who get the error message. Mostly stackoverflow.com is you can find the answer. Not always, but mostly. So stackoverflow.com. Then if you click, then the reference one, is the answer. So Python working with the integer, so you can change it like this. There might be a solution, exactly same solution you can find. So when you meet the error, don't be shy, don't be embarrassed. Instead, copy and paste and search the Google and click the answer from the Stack Overflow. Then you will solve the 99.9%. You will find the solution. Okay. So here's the things. Thanks so much for your attending. And I know it's more and more complicated, but which means it's need your practice. You can watch the recorded video for your practice, or you can always refer the solution that is included under the solution the folder. Thanks so much for your attending, and enjoy the weekend. Thank you.